Okay, so the question we have is, how much is an 18-wheeler truck accident settlement worth?
Yeah, Aaron, that can be kind of a complicated question because, like any personal injury case, there are a number of factors that we have to look at when determining the value of a case or what a client should expect to recover in a case. So we'll go through some of those factors in turn. The first factor is, of course, how clear is the liability? That means how clear is it that the 18-wheeler was in fact at fault for causing the collision and causing the injury that the client is pursuing. The clearer the liability, the higher the expectation the client should have about the outcome, because there's less risk that a jury would pour them out or award them $0 or find that the client themselves were legally responsible for causing the collision. And of course, in Texas, if you don't have liability, then you won't recover anything from the person who you're trying to recover money from. The second factor has to do with what are the damages. And Aaron, maybe you can talk a little bit about the damages aspect of things.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the jury in the last one. The fact is we're all in the prediction business. Both the insurance company and the injury lawyer on our side, we're trying to figure out what a jury would do with the facts. And so if you're trying to figure out what your truck accident case is worth, start from the jury's perspective. What would they conclude? What would they conclude about liability? What would they conclude about your harms and losses? When we talk about damages, we all know that these big vehicles cause big damages. There's just a lot of mass. And when you have, 80,000 pounds hit anything, it does so with a lot of force. And so typically we see bigger damages on truck accident cases. That's one of the reasons you see so much advertising around these, because people who have been hit by trucks tend to have a need for more care, more medical care, and a lot of their injuries are more permanent. So I think you can say that on average, truck accident cases have bigger damages. But again, we're in the prediction business. We're trying to guess what a jury would do with the case, and it's very case specific. We've covered damages and liability. What's left?
Yeah, I think the third factor is, of course, the collectability. Is the trucking company who hurt you solvent? Do they have a lot of insurance to cover the damages that they've caused? Or do they have assets that you could potentially go after and collect in the event that you were able to secure a verdict for monetary damages? And oftentimes, while you might assume that any 18-wheeler on the road has a ton of insurance and enough insurance to pay for the damage they've caused, that's not always the case.
Can be surprising.
Absolutely right. And the state does impose some mandatory insurance requirements on 18-wheelers. The amount of insurance that an 18-wheeler has to cover can depend based upon the weight of the vehicle and whether or not they're engaged in interstate commerce. That means across the United States or across state lines versus intrastate commerce, which is just inside the state of Texas. But part of our responsibility when we're handling an 18-wheeler case is to do the discovery to understand all of the different insurance proceeds and policies that are available that we can pursue so that we can help advise our clients along the way to make good decisions to help us make sure that we're maximizing their recovery.
So we've covered liability, damages, and insurance coverage, basically. I'm going to throw one more at you. How about mad factors?
Yeah, mad factors are really maybe one of the most interesting aspects of an 18-wheeler case. And when we talk about mad factors, these are things that would really inflame a jury. Bad facts, bad conduct, knowing reckless conduct by the 18-wheeler company that would really put them at a risk of having a jury go nuclear on them if they discovered what the 18-wheeler company had been up to leading up to the crash. Aaron, what are some of the categories of mad factors that we've seen throughout the years?
I mean, I think it's looking the other way, right? Putting profits over safety, hiring people that are incompetent, that are doing bad things, that are, underslept, and maybe forcing them to not get enough sleep by the way you put them on that schedule. Having them lie about things, forge signatures. I mean, we've seen it all in these cases. Some of these cases unfold like a movie, and frankly, it's what we love to do as lawyers. And so when someone calls with a trucking accident case, we all I think we get excited about it because we have an opportunity to really practice our craft on that. It can be really rewarding to uncover those stones.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what you're looking at until you start turning those stones over. We've seen things like drunk driving and drug use in 18-wheelers, and those things can have a pretty tremendous impact on how we value a case. So if you've been hurt by an 18-wheeler and you have questions and want to learn more about what your rights and options are, please pick up the phone and call us. We've got a lot of experience in this field. We love to educate people about their rights and options. We're not the type of law firm that's going to put pressure on you to sign a contract. We just want you to know what your options are so you can make informed decisions. So pick up the phone and give us a call.